The 2024 Idemitsu Asia Talent Cup season reignites here at the Pertamina Mandalika International Circuit. We've had 2 rounds already in 2024 in Qatar at the start of the MotoGP season and in Malaysia back in September alongside the Malaysian Superbike round. This is what happened over at the Sepang International Circuit a month or 2 ago, and it was a fascinating battle, as we always see in the Asia Talent Cup. A large group of riders at the front, but the number 2 of Zen Matani, as he has done so often this season already, built a gap up at the front, made it look a little bit too easy as the fight raged on behind for the race victory and the podium places. Matani eventually won in Malaysia twice, nonetheless, comfortably as well in the end from the number 2. A magnificent display over in Malaysia from the young Japanese rider. And it was a fantastic battle in the podium places. It has been in Qatar in the opening 2 races of the season. It was in Malaysia too, 2 more races, and now the season really starts to kick into life. The Idemitsu Asia Talent Cup riders are back alongside the MotoGP paddock, starting at the stunning Pertamina International Circuit here in Mandalika, Lombok. 29 degrees air temperature, scorching conditions. I'm pretty sure it's a little bit higher than that, certainly feels it anyway. Tough conditions for the riders here in Lombok, but a magnificent venue to come racing. The Indonesian fans absolutely love it. The Grand Prix scene, of course, is where they're focused, but they absolutely love the Asia Talent Cup as well. Of course, they cheered on Veda Pratama in last year's 2023 campaign. Pratama obviously went on to win, and he has won the last 4 races here at the Pertamina Mandalika International Circuit. So the Indonesian fans have had something to cheer about in the last couple of years. But what will happen this time around? Bringing you the action today, this evening, after the Tissot Sprint in MotoGP, is Elliot York, myself, and Liam Hodgins. Liam, what a season it's been already. Fantastic to get the season back up and running here in 2024. I hope you weren't looking forward to this, mate. How have you made the season so far?
Thank you very much, Elliot. Good afternoon to everyone, or good morning to wherever you are from around the world. I'm absolutely looking forward to this one. It's going to be an absolute cracker, as we've seen so many times here in Mandalika from the Asia Talent Cup since 2022. We've had 3 races here, 3 rounds here, 6 races in total, and they've all been absolute crackers. And it's going to be an absolute brilliant show that these Asia Talent Cup riders are going to put on for all of us and the fans around the circuit.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Always great racing, as I'm sure plenty of you watching know that already. Asia Talent Cup, more often than not, produces stunning racing and stunning battles, and I think we're going to get similar again. Qualifying earlier on today, just before the qualifying for Moto 3 and Moto 2 started earlier on a few hours ago, was very, very close indeed. Ryota Ogiwara will start on pole position, less than a 10th ahead of Zen Matani. Ogiwara finished 3rd overall in last year's season. Unfortunately had that DNF over in Qatar when him and Ogiwara were fighting for that race lead. A big crash over in Qatar, but Ogiwara returning to pole position, and it's the first time Ogiwara will be on the front row, let alone pole position this year. Picked up a podium back in Malaysia, so Ogiwara will be hoping to get a good start and go for his first race win of the season.
Yeah, he will indeed, and it's quite surprising because he's always featured at the front, hasn't he, Elliot? That it's his first pole position, and as you quite rightly said, it's something that's taken us by a bit of a surprise from Ogiwara. And he he was well and truly within the podium battle here last year in race 1 before taking the lead, or taking 3rd before dropping it at turn 1 on lap 3, so he'll be hoping not to repeat that this year. Ikegami, we just saw there, a rider that's been, well, from Europeans, we know him in the European Talent Cup, and he's been performing really well over there. A couple of 4th places, and just missing out on a podium in Catalonia in the middle of July.
Yeah, really exciting prospect is Sairu Ikegami, spearheading the 2nd row of the grid on the number 14 machine. Watch out for him. He was only 10,000ths of a second away from the Qatar podium in race 1. Just missed out there. He's had a couple of DNFs. Has Ikegami, unfortunately. That's why he's down in 10th place. Not had a couple of DNFs. Had 1 DNF, sorry, in Malaysia, but yeah, crashed as well in Qatar. Managed to remount and cross the line in 17th, but he was in the lead battle over in Qatar. We need to mention Zen Matani, middle of the front row. He's won 3 out of the 4 races so far, and he's been absolutely magnificent on the number 2 machine. Zen Matani, the Japanese rider, didn't win a race, was so close on a couple of occasions in 2023, has 2 podiums here to his name already back last year, a P2 and a P3, and Zen Matani has hit the ground running in 2024, and he's looking like already a hard rider to beat here this season.
Yeah, he's an absolute class of the field at the moment, is Matani, and he's currently leading the championship on 95 points. His worst result of the season, as is his worst grid position, which has come this round, second place. So if second place is your worst result, then I think he'll be taking that with all he can grab.
Exactly that, yeah. First time Matani won't be starting on pole position in 2024. That's the mark of just how good he has been in 2024. Rounding out the front row is Farish Hafai, the Malaysian. Fortunately had a long lap to deal with in race 1 in Malaysia after he got a good start. Led both races back at his home race. His first front row of the year. So Hafai has a couple of races under his belt, a couple of rounds under his belt, here in Malaysia, in Indonesia, already. So the number 9 team will be hoping he can stand on the podium for the second time this year after standing on the podium last time out in Malaysia round 2.
Yeah, don't worry too much about that, El. It's easy to get yourself mixed up when you've had such a long day in the commentary box and under the hot sun.
Exactly that, mate, yeah. Exactly that. So, Ikegami spearheading row 2, as we said, and Kianja Ramadipa. We can't go without mentioning the lead Indonesian rider on the grid, the lead Indonesian rider in the championship, second place, 24 points behind Mitani. Ramadipa won the second race over in Qatar quite brilliantly in a fascinating battle at the Losail International Circuit. Got another podium to his name in Malaysia as well, the rookie. Really exciting prospect from Indonesia. They've had Veda Pertamina to cheer on. He's moved on to pastures new in Junior GP and Red Bull Rookies Cup. Had a great season as well over in Europe. Has Pertamina, and they've got a new one in Ramadipa to cheer on the number 7 machine.
Yeah, the Indonesians are really coming on strong now in the Asia Talent Cup, really feeding themselves through the Road to MotoGP programme. And as you say, the Indonesians will be cheering on Ramadipa from from top of the grid, second in the championship. He needs a big result today to try and close down Mitani, and he's only finished inside the top 4 so far this season, so don't count him out because he's well and truly within this championship battle. It's going to be an absolute cracker as we wait for lights out in a few moments' time, Elliot.
Certainly will be. Rounding out the second row is Kiatsak Singapong on the number 20 machine. P4 was his best so far in 2024, so Singapong, who is 4th in the championship, will be hoping to stand on the podium for the first time this season. Completed 4 rounds in 2023, so he's not technically a rookie, but he is a rider with little experience in this class. So great to see Singapong going really well already in 2024.
Yeah, it is indeed. There's so many rookies in this class this year that are really doing well, and he's one of the least experienced and well and truly one for the future for Thailand, as there's another Thai on screen, and he'll be hoping to push his way through as well. I want to give a shout out to Levi Russo, who's in his second season, and he's really put himself high on the grid, start the third row in 7th, and he's really started to come on strong in the Asia Talent Cup this year, sitting 8th in the championship and best result of a 7th, so he'll be hoping to go a couple better today.
Yeah, exactly that. Levi Russo, shout out to the number 6 rider, best qualifying of the year for the Australian. So yeah, Russo hoping to climb up onto the podium for the first time. He should be in the podium hunt. Let's hope he is, for Russo's sake and Australia's sake as well. So revs are up then, engines are starting as you can hear in the background, and here is your grid for race 1 here in Mandalika. Ogiwara on pole from Mitani and Hafai, Ikegami, Ramadipa and Singapong on row 2. Russo, Chavan and Tanashot is your third row of the grid. Row 4 is led by Takamoto, Schmidt and Pratutong. Britani, another Indonesian on the grid, leads row 5 with Henry and Zakan. Joining him, row 6 is Nakib, Dave and Takahira, who has a penalty. Rishi Takahira, back of the grid, start for a slow sector in practice. Dakigan and Vishwanath also have penalties for slow sector, so watch out for those riders coming from the back of the grid. Takahira, obviously a name that's heavily linked with fans from the Asia Talent Cup. He actually qualified well enough to start from P7, but unfortunately he will be starting from the back of the grid, so he'll be hoping, Takahiro, to pick his way through the group. The rider currently third in the overall standings, has only missed the podium once this season, as the Japanese star so has work to do in race 1.
Yeah, he does indeed. He's one of only 3 race winners in the class. Takahiro, of course, Zen Mitani and Ramadipa. So 2 of them have come this year, and Takahiro was the only race winner from last year that came into this season. So Takahiro, well and truly one of the most experienced race winners, you could say, Elliot, and he's got a lot to do from the back of the grid. Something we have seen here over the last couple of the years on our 3 visits is the person who wins race 1 tends to go on to win race 2. So we've had 2 different winners over the last couple of years. Pertamina won 4 in total from a 6. Thankfully he's not here to try and take any more race victories.
Yeah, exactly that, Liam. Yeah, Pertamina has been an expert around this track in the last couple of years. Tayo Furusato is the other rider who's won round here. We came here twice in 2021 for Furusato, the 2021 title winner, and we had 3 races back then, so Tayo Furusato dominating around here. Who is going to take the race win today? We're going to welcome a new winner today, no matter what happens. Here is a reminder of the championship standings. Mitani, after 3 wins in 4, leads by 24 points. It already starts to feel like the riders need to make up ground really quickly, because Mitani has just been operating on a slightly different level so far this season. So it's going to be an interesting race to see. He's off the pole position for the first time this season. Can the riders in the championship chase behind ruffle his feathers a little bit and try and beat him here for only the 2nd time this season?
Yeah, there's one thing the riders do have to contend with here today. We just saw the trees in the background, the rustling with the wind. You can also hear at times the wind is really coming through in the microphone, so it's getting a little bit windy out there, and so the riders will be hoping that they can have a nice clean race and won't have any issue with the wind. We are along the coast, right next to the sea, so a lot of that wind is coming off the sea, but fingers crossed for a nice clean race from all of these riders.
Yeah, absolutely. We did notice the wind picking up during qualifying, and some of the riders did mention that it was causing a bit of issues. Ibi Adatama was one of those in Moto3, so slightly tricky conditions for these riders to deal with. So the season is about to reignite here in the Asia Talent Cup. The lights will come on shortly. There they are, and away we go. We are back underway, and it's a good start from the middle of the front row, Mitani, but the number 16 of Ogiwara gets a great launch from pole position, and that's Hapai also getting away well on the number 19 to devote Mitani back to P4. Ikegami on the 14, a great launch from 4th, but it is going to be Ogiwara from pole taking the whole shot.
Hapai almost took Mitani's handlebars away from him just off the start. Thankfully both were okay and got through that one, but a great start for your pole setter. Ogiwara is looking for his first ever victory in the class. I was looking further down the field where Takahiro might be. He's only made it 1 position so far, so good start from Takahiro so far, but we're going to keep an eye on the top 5 for now. And Zen Mitani is climbing all over the back of Ikegami. Ikegami climbing all over the back of Hapai, the Malaysian, looking for a move as he powered through turns 8 and 9 down towards turn 10. Who's going to be later of the late breakers? It looks to be Ogiwara for now.
Yeah, Ogiwara, the perfect launch from pole position. Mitani, not the start he would have wanted, but he's already picked his way back up past Ikegami, his compatriot, into P3. So Mitani building into this race nice and early. He didn't get the launch he would have wanted, but Mitani doing what he does best, picking his way through the fields. No panic stations yet, of course, as Mitani shows a wheel up the inside of Hapai at the fast left-hander at turn 13. Then you flick it through turn 14 towards the end of the lap. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of passing manoeuvres coming at turn 16 before you finish the lap at turn 17. Ogiwara leading at this moment in time, and as I was saying, through 15, building the momentum was Mitani. Trying to hang it around the outside is Ogiwara. He's going to have the inside line for the final corner at turn 17, but the latter half of the first lap from Mitani has been a belter, but it's going to be Ogiwara leading the way on lap 1.
Yeah, you're not surprised to see the leaders taking a bit tentatively through turn 15 and 16. We saw that come a cropper in the MotoGP sprint, so they were hoping to get through there nice and easily. As we see Mitani, what a chopping across the nose of Ogiwara. Bertani's crashed from 10th. He had a great start, so it's a shame there for Bertani, who's a film rider this weekend, crashing out. Just want to go back to, as we see another move by Ogiwara, straight back up the inside of Mitani. Great launch from Russo, the Australian rider. So Australian watch, he's in 2nd as we see Bertani, who crashed out at turn 16.
Yeah, wildcard rider this weekend, Bertani. Unfortunate for the Indonesian, but he'll be hopefully back on his bike again for race 2 tomorrow morning. Hopefully he can get the race completed if he can get that bike going again. So another change for the lead. Mitani went from P4 to P1 on lap 1. A fantastic lap 1 from Mitani after a sluggish getaway. Ogiwara was leading, and now Mitani has returned to the lead. This is going to change lap by lap, corner by corner, as we've come to expect in the Asia Talent Cup, especially through the fast sections of 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9 down to turn 10. A popular passing manoeuvre is turn 10 here at the Pertamina Mandalika International Circuit, but it is still Mitani now leading the way from Ogiwara. Hafai in third and 14 of Ikegami in P4.
This is the side they do not want to see, with Mitani leading. We've seen so many times this season that when he gets into the lead, he can able to just set his own pace and end up pulling ahead of the pack. We saw it in Sepang, we saw it also in Qatar as well at Losail International Circuit back in round number 1, as Ikegami making some more moves up the inside of Hafai. And we were talking on lap 1, Takahira all the way from the back of the grid, already up to 8th spot, just made another move there on Patumtong. So the Japanese rider already making inroads into this race as Mitani sets the fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, cracking lap from Mitani, and well pointed out, Liam. Takahira already up into the top 10, 3.5 seconds off the lead. There's already a bit of a gap from Ramadipa, the home hero, to Russo, 1.6 seconds splitting the top 5 to the chasers in P6. So a bit of work to do for Takahira to try and get into this battle for the podium, but I don't think he would have been expecting that at the start of the race. A top 10 from the back of the grid, potentially a top 6 on the cards for Takahira. That's a great job so far from the number 9.
Yeah, 10 important points there. We're just getting a replay here of a slow-mo into turn 1. Poetry in motion, and Mitani, well, that is poetry indeed from the number 2. Mitani, your championship leader, looking for his 4th race victory of the season, and doing that from the front after putting a quite clinical pass on Ogiwara.
Yeah, great slow-mo down there at turn 1. Another place on this Pertamina Mandalika Circuit that's popular for passing manoeuvres, plenty of them. Mitani still sits in the lead. Ikegami now up to 2nd place, and now he's up to 1st place. Dives up the inside at turn 12. Mitani's going to hang it around the outside, and that's Hafai going onto the curb. Great stuff here early doors in the Asia Talent Cup. They've not raced for a couple of months now of these riders, but boy are they back in action and battling well here. Down through turn 15, then into turn 16 to nearly complete another lap. Ogiwara down to P4 at this moment in time. These riders battling well, and Ramadipa, the home hero, just sitting there patiently for now. Plenty of laps to try and make his move, but Mitani it's going to lead with 12 laps to go.
Yeah, you get the impression that Mitani's happy to lead from the front, and Ramadipa, the number 7, is happy to just sit back at the moment and watch these 4 in front just scrap it out. And it's a great scrap. Once, as you said quite rightly, Elliot, once you let the teenagers out, you've had them contained for about 2 or 3 months. Now you've let them out and they're ready to go and ready to scrap each other up quite a bit. Takahira, he's made even more progress. He's got 10 important points for now. He's up into 6th, but he's got a large gap of 2.6 seconds to Ramadipa. I can't imagine, Elliot, they might close that one up.
It's going to take some effort from Takahira to try and close that one up. He's got sort of leads of that second group, so he's going to hope that these guys are going to battle away and cost each other time. That's exactly what they're going to do, of course, but it is some effort to try and close that 2.6 second advantage. There you can see them in the background. Ikegami then up the inside of Mitani, but Mitani great on the brakes down into turn 10, so no room for Ikegami to make a pass on his compatriot this time around, as Hafai takes a good look behind him and sees a face full of Ramadipa, but he will also see the gap. So Hafai will now know that it's just a lead group of 5 for now, but he's just got to concentrate on the task in hand up ahead. Ramadipa just sitting there again patiently as Mitani leads from the front. As you say, Liam, loves to lead from the front. We've seen it in the first couple of races so far this season. Just got to watch out for track limits there, haven't they, as well?
Yeah, it looked very close to the track limits. Maybe the wrong side of the curb there for Mitani. He's really pushing on, isn't he, the Japanese rider leading the world, leading the Talent Cup standings at the moment. So Mitani in bike number 2 leading the way from Ikegami, Ogiwara, Hafai, and I was just thinking maybe Ramadipa on the 7 just struggling to keep in touch with his leading quartet for the time being. As I say, that Ogiwara just sets a fast lap off the race at 1:42.6. That's a 1/10 of a second off the all-time lap record, which was set by Odaki last year as he was chasing down Veda Pratama for victory.
Yeah, hot pace then set already with 11 laps to go. Ogiwara on the number 16 getting his head down. He's been shuffled back to P4, then P3. Oh, I thought he was going to have a little up the inside at turn 3. Not normally seeing moves there. That would have been a brave one. Better to stick into the slipstream as they really open the gas up here. Full throttle pretty much through all of these fast sweeping corners of 5, 6, 7. Then you flick it left for 8, then back onto the curb for turn 9 and then into turn 10. What a move from Hafai that was. Dived at the inside of Ogiwara, so Ogiwara's looking at making a move on Ikegami, but instead he's seen Hafai picked his pocket, and this Hafai going to go on the number 19 from P1 to P1. Yes, he has. That is phenomenal from Hafai through the fast sweeping section, picked up a nice bit of slipstream, said thank you very much, 3 in 1, sorry, I'm now the race leader.
Oh, beautiful stuff from Hafai. He just kept his powder dry through the fast triple right-hander, set the moves up, and he's like, oh, very close there from Mitani. Once again, Mitani, as we've seen so many times, once somebody comes past, he's immediately striking back at the rider who's just come past him and shuffled Hafai, who put some of the best overtaking moves you could see in Asia Talent Cup, back down to second, but he won't take any unsatisfaction from that because there's still 10 and a bit laps to go.
Yeah, Mitani loves leading from the front. He's already proved that this year, as I've already said. And it's the mark of a fantastic and confident rider. When a rival passes you, you bite straight back. Valentino Rossi said that numerous times across his glittering career. Mitani then, 10 laps to go, leads the way from Hafai. Ogiwara and Ikegami, Ramadipa just keeping his powder dry still at the back of this group. Agreed with you a lap ago, Liam. Did look like he was sort of struggling a little bit to cling on to the coattails of the top 4, but I think he's just sitting there nice and patiently, potentially saving some tyre. Doesn't want to get into the battle at this stage. He's happy to just sit behind the top 4, watch them battle it out, learn where they're faster, where he could make some moves as well. So on the number 7, it's going to be intriguing to see what he can do in the final 9.5 laps.
Yeah, it's really good to see such racecraft from the top 5, and especially from Ramadipa. You've got to remember, these riders are really young and they're already honing their craft right now, and with the racecraft you can produce in the Asia Talent Cup, as we once again see Hafai and Ogiwara, Ikegami, it was Ogiwara, got the 16 and the 14 mixed up, easy to do sometimes. They have moved through to first and second and shuffled Mitani back, but just, wow, we might see a move around here. It's just Hafai once again, no, it's Ogiwara this time. Ogiwara with an absolute stunning move through turns 10 and 11, but that just might allow Hafai back through, not quite, but it's allowed Mitani through for second, so chopping and changing all the time, Elliot, and these 5 riders really showing why they are the class of the field at the moment.
Yeah, fantastic stuff from Ogiwara. Set that up through turn 11, hung it around the outside, and then got the inside line into turn 12. Hafai getting a bit of a taste of his own medicine after taking 3 riders in a couple of corners a couple of laps ago. He's now shuffled back to P3 after being P1 in a couple of corners, so that's how quickly things can change in the Asia Talent Cup. 9 laps to go, then top 5 still locked together. It's now Ogiwara with the race lead. Just intrigued to see what the gap is to the chasers. Takahira now in P7. It's Singapong on the number 20 in P6, 3.1 seconds adrift, so they've lost touch a little bit, not too much, but they're going to need some more time lost from these front 5 if they're going to catch up.
Yeah, Singapong setting the pace of the leaders at the moment. He was in the 143s, mid 1 minute 43s, 43.4. That was only a couple of tenths of a second slower than Ogiwara, who was the fastest rider in this leading group for now. So if this top 5 can keep scrapping amongst themselves, this will allow Singapong, who's now broken clear of 1.2 seconds from Takahira, this will allow Singapong to potentially close the gap.
Oh, what a move that was from Hafai, diving up the inside at turn 7. Loves that bit of track, does Hafai. Now he's got a great run out of turn 9 as well. On the run down into turn 10, clicks it down the gearbox, hard on the anchors through turn 10, and Hafai from P3 to P1 in a matter of corners once again. Fantastic from the number 19.
Yeah, the Malaysian's really showing how strong he is round about this Mandalika Circuit, and happy to lead from the front is the 19, but Ogiwara's coming back, your pole sitter. He's not letting this one lie for now into turn 12 to go. Doesn't make it stick just yet, but for now it's the top 5 as they were from a couple of corners ago. Hafai, Ogiwara, Mitani, he's now looking to regroup and come back at the top 2. Your championship leader on the number 2 into turn 16. He's not going for 1, he's going for 2, and up the inside he goes. So I had to set up there as Hafai chops the nose off your championship leader.
Oh, I thought better of it there, did Mitani. Look, the inside at turn 16, we've seen plenty of crashes down there, including Jorge Martin in the sprint. It's been a bit of a tricky section of track we've known from the start of the weekend, and that's where it's going to sometimes cost some riders up the inside. One of the slowest corners on the circuit, but one of the trickiest to get right. So Ikegami then makes his move up into P2 now. 8 laps to go. The number 14 overtakes his compatriots Ogiwara and Mitani, demotes Mitani down to P4. With Ramadipa still there lurking in P5, clinging on to the coattails of these top 4 as we come to halfway section of the track, but he's not got a slipstream now to play with, so it's going to be interesting what happens as Ikegami then tucks himself up behind the number 19, Ogiwara and Mitani looking strong here as well as the power through turn 5 up to turn 6, then they flick it left into turn 8, and then this is turn 9 as Hafai runs it onto the green. That'll be a track limits noted onto the number 19's copybook here in race 1. Oh, what a move that was. It was Ikegami going up the inside, Hafai returning the favour, and then has a long look behind him again, does Hafai. They're still there, the Malaysian rider, so he's got plenty of company, but that was fantastic stuff, biting straight back.
Yeah, great section of track for some racecraft from the Asian Talent Cup. This Mandalika Circuit really lends itself to some great racing in the lower categories, and the Asian Talent Cup riders are really showing, as we see, that's a shortcut to turn 9 for Vish Wanat. So that disaster stage becomes even harder as Mitani once again making not 1 but 2 places into turn 16. And I just want to draw your attention to the rider in the background, Singapong. I watched him in the last lap. He set his personal best lap of the race, a 43 dead. He was 2.8 seconds off the leaders. This looks like a bit of a moment there for Hafai, almost over the other side of the curb. Those serrated curbs, you don't want to do that. On this lap now, another personal best lap of the race, a 42.8 for Singapong in 6th place. He's now closed the gap down to 2 seconds, so the Thai rider is coming.
Yeah, well spotted again, Liam. Singapong 4th in the championship on 44 points. Doesn't have a podium yet to his name. Can he cling himself? Can he claw himself back into this podium fight? We'll wait and see. 6 3/4 laps to go here in Lombok in race 1 here on Saturday evening, and what a race it's been so far. It's Ikegami now who leads on the number 14, Mitani 2nd, Ogiwara 3rd, a Japanese 1, 2, 3, but Hafai on the section of track he absolutely loves. He's made a couple of moves here already in this race, lined one up there, but not enough room at the end this time around. Look at the speed that Ogiwara carried through turn 8 there, powered it through turn 9 around the outside. Ikegami hangs it around the outside of Mitani. The inside line has several riders running deep there. Mitani was deep, Ikegami's going to have the inside line, but Hafai and Ramadipa were deep. And look at the number 20 in the background. Cue the Jaws music.
Yeah, indeed, as Mitani shoots on back through again for first place on Ikegami. So great racecraft there. I thought they were all going into that car park route for a second a few corners ago. This is really playing into the hands of Singapong, and you're quite right to say, Elliot, cue the Jaws music, because the Thai rider is on his way. Ramadipa, he's struggling to stay with this top 4, and the number 7 with them all chopping and changing, squabbling at the front. It's kind of keeping the 7 in play for the time being, but if they just ease themselves out, slow themselves out, smooth themselves out, to say, I think Ramadipa on the 7 and 5th spot might drop back into the clutches of Singapong as we start lap number 9 of 15. 6 laps to go, and it's Mitani, your championship leader, still leading the way.
Certainly is. What was the lap time from Singapore that time around? Is a 43 dead. He was at least 3/10 quicker, 2/10 quicker than anyone else. Ogiwara, the fastest of the lot, in the leading group of 43.2, but crucially Ramadipa 43.7. 7/10 lost to Singapore, so Singapore is coming. Does he have enough time to bridge the gap in the last 5 3/4 laps? We'll wait and see. Ramadipa, just as you say, Liam, struggling a little bit to cling on to the back of the leading quartet as things stand. Did run wide though at turn 10, and he'll get a nice bit of slipstream if he can cling on to it through the fast sweeping right-handers and left-handers towards turn 10. Here is the number 20 of Singapore, really got his head down into his rhythm, into the groove. Got no one behind him to disrupt his rhythm as the riders go 4 abreast into turn 10. Hafai up the inside, a new race leader once again.
Hafai, I think, took 2 or 3 positions there. It looked like he came from a long way back on the number 19 machine, but Mitani's having none of it. Once more, takes the lead back again. It seems like they've really got to try and go deep to try and scupper the line of Mitani, but Mitani's just running his own lines for the time being, happy to do what he's doing at the front, in the group, anywhere, and he's really, really stretching out this group. And as I say that, it looked like this time Ramadipa has started to come back towards the top 4, and Singapore as well, he's lurking ever more into the background as we approach turn number 16 with 5 and a bit laps to go. Just as we've got a bit of downtime for the time being. Further back, Takahiro still in 7th ahead of Chava, and then the Indian rider, and a great ride in 8th. Russo's, he will drop back towards the tail end of the points. He's now in 9th, and Takimoto riding at the top 10, so great rides going further back, and they're setting their personal best laps of the race as we continue to watch. Quite rightly, the group at the front is Hafei once again makes a move on Mitani.
Singapore then, the only rider in the 142s on that lap, the 42.8 compared to the 43.1 for Ramadipa. Hafei set at 143.106, so at least 3/10 claw back again from Singapore, and with 5 laps to go, I reckon at the end of this lap he's going to be pretty much within distance of the slipstream, so watch out for the number 20, closing and closing with 4 and a bit laps left. We'll focus on the lead quintet for now, but it's going to be a lead group of 6 very, very soon as the number 20 continues on his path to the podium fight. What we're going to get then down into turn 10, with 5 laps to go. Hafei, last of the late breakers. Mitani doing his best to try and keep hold of 2nd place. He does do it for now. As all these riders close up in there, you can see the number 20 pretty much with this lead group now. So it was a 5-rider battle. It pretty much is now a lead group of 6.
Yes, a 12-wheeler almost at the front. You can really feel this race building towards a crescendo. This the calm before the storm almost. Well, Mitani, he started this one. He's starting to make the storm rumble as he takes the lead once more. And Singapore, he is definitely there. The number 20, I wonder how much tire he's still got left after trying to bridge what was almost a 3.5-second gap to leaders. He's now on the back of them as Ramadipa, who was said a couple laps ago was almost out of it. He's now found form and he's back into 3rd.
There he is then, Singapore. He is there now. It is a lead group of 6. As Ramadipa, as you say, Liam, makes his move up into P3 for the first time this race, but Mitani, crucially with 4 laps to go, has hit the front. He's got a couple of tenths in hand over Hafei, but that move from Ramadipa just cost the others time. Ogiwara desperate to get back up into the podium places, get his head down, and into P3 he goes. Hafei takes a long look over his shoulder. That cost him time. Ogiwara then closes in, and after threatening to not break clear but have a little bit of breathing room, the top 6 are all grouped together here with 4 laps to go. Fascinating stuff here in the Asia Talent Cup.
Yeah, once again, Singapore on that last lap was the only rider in the 142s. Ikegami, incidentally, was in the 144, so that just shows you how much Ramadipa's move scuppered Ikegami's. Well, I thought it was Hafei going for a move into turn number 7, as we've seen so many times from the 19, the Malaysian rider. He loves to make a move through a section of track. Once again, he looks up the inside of Ikegami. He has made the move on Mitani, not Ikegami, my apologies there. The number 2 shuffled back from 1st to 3rd, and there he is, number 20. What can he do? He's the one with the pace. Singapore, as we're looking at Takahiro, another rider that's actually setting faster lap times than some of the leaders. He was at 1:43.6, but it looks like he's in a safe 7th position for now, but it could all change if these riders continue to scrap and maybe trip over each other.
Yeah, from 18th on the grid, Takahiro couldn't have asked for much more than a top 7 finish. A lonely ride to the finish line for Takahiro, but he'll collect those points on the number 9 machine and go again in race 2 tomorrow morning. We're going to focus our attentions though at the front. Just over 3 laps to go, turn 16 negotiated. Is it all going to come down to there on the final lap? I'm not a betting man, but I reckon it will do. Come down to turn 16. So Ogiwara then, after being 4th at the start of the last lap, is now in the lead, takes a wider line than usual, trying to break the slipstream with the riders behind him. Don't think it's going to work too much. He's going to hold the lead though into race 1 as Ikegami pounces up into P2. This is going to change corner by corner. Fascinating stuff. Absolutely brilliant racing as we were expecting. Ikegami up into 2nd, Ogiwara into P3 for now, and Mitani is shoveled back to 4th place after leading on the previous lap. So Mitani with a little bit of work to do, more than he had to do back in Malaysia. By this stage he was leading both races and by a little bit of a comfortable distance. He's not got such of a comfortable race this time around.
Yeah, he's a cool customer as Mitani. We've seen so many times when he does get duffed up a little bit, he just keeps his powder dry and comes back a little bit later on. He can't keep his powder dry for too long because he's got 3 riders, well, 2 riders now, as one comes flying past. That's Hafei once more, who once again shows his class through the Maggins and Beckett's type section of the circuit here in Mandalika. Great section of track, really lends itself to some brilliant overtakes into turn 10. But it's Ogiwara who's looking for his first ever victory in Asia Talent Cup. That's continuing to lead the way quite brilliantly from Ikegami, who's looking for redemption after his crash from second position in Sepang Race 1. So he's looking for a podium today, maybe even victory. So with 2 and a bit laps to go, it's all to play for as the top 4 seem to have broken Ramadipa and Singapong.
Yeah, not quite sure what happened for Ramadipa and Singapong to lose a bit of time there. Hopefully we'll get a replay, or the top 4 just have set that pace quicker. We'll check the lap times as they come across the line, and it will be 2 laps to go here in the Idemitsu Asia Talent Cup Race 1 here in Indonesia. It's going to be Ogiwara leading the way from Ikegami, Mitani and Hafai.
Wow.
Japanese top 3. Ikegami then a fastest lap of the race. A 42.6. Mitani set his personal best lap of the race, but it was some 3/10 slower than Ikegami. So Ikegami has got the hammer down here on the number 14.
Ikegami, we saw this in Catalonia, European Talent Cup. He comes to the fore towards the end of the race. Has he kept his tyres in check more than the others? Ikegami was sitting in 4th for most of this race. He's now up to 2nd, and he's climbing all over the back of Ogiwara. But we're coming to the section of track, like you mentioned a few laps ago, Elliot, the Hafai is really strong as Mitani has round the outside. Wow, on Mitani, your championship leader. That just shows you the absolute brilliance of Hafai to do it on your championship leader, Mitani. So Mitani, he didn't even know it was coming, and Hafai's not stopped there. He's gone from 4th to 3rd to 1st in all the space of 4 corners.
That is utterly sublime from Hafai. He goes from P4 to P1 through that favoured section of track of his. But now he's leading the race. The pressure is on Hafai. He's not going to look around this time around. He knows exactly what's behind him. It looks like the other 2 in the fight, Ramadipa and Singapong, have just lost touch, so he could be looking at a 4-way battle for the lead. But I won't call that too early. Ogiwara defending well from Ikegami. Mitani in P4. It will be the first time off the podium this year if he doesn't finish on the podium, but he's fighting back, isn't he? With just over a lap to go, Ogiwara hits the front. Hafai's lead didn't last for long as we come into turn 16 for the penultimate time here in race 1. Who's leading the way now? It is Ogiwara on the number 16 from Mitani, from Hafai, from Ikegami, and Ramadipa and Singapong are right there. So it is last lap time here in race 1 in Lombok. It's Ogiwara leading the way, the pole sitter, but is it going to stay that way? Ogiwara going to the left-hand side of the track, trying to break the slipstream. He does into turn 1. Hafai up to P3.
Yeah, Mitani ran off the track coming out of the final corner. That made him lose a little bit of time to Ogiwara, who quite brilliantly is leading the way. Defensive skills from the 16, the Japanese rider at the front, but he has the championship leader all over the back of him now. But Hafai, the prime rider in 3rd position, we've seen so many times this race that this is a section of track that he revels in. The number 19, watch out for him in 3rd position, but he's lost a bit of touch to your championship leader Mitani. Ogiwara leading the way on the 16 from the number 2, your championship leader. But Hafai once again, he's closed up on the top 2. He's going to go for that overtake into turn 10. 1, 2, he's gone from 3rd to 1st, and number 19 Mitani's in 2nd, but Hafai from 3rd to 1st, he's done it.
What a move from Hafai. We saw it coming. We predicted it. We've seen it so many times already in this race, and now he's hit the front, but it's all about holding that race lead. He wasn't able to do it on the penultimate lap, but the number 19 at turn 10 takes the lead. He's got Mitani right in his slipstream. Mitani on the number 2. Close contact there in 2. Turn 13 we go. Hafai is shuffled back to P3 now as Ikegami goes up to P2, but it is Mitani then leading through turn 15 into the final corner. Look at this, they're on the dirty part of the racetrack. Ikegami into P2, Mitani is holding it for now though. Who's going to be last of the late breakers into turn 16? That's tight. It's Ramadipa on the number 7, the Indonesian trying to get a home podium. Hafai, it's going to be close, but Mitani has worked it to perfection. Contact at the final corner between Hafai. I think that was the crash at the final corner. Ogiwara down. Hopefully Ogiwara is all okay, but it is Zen Mitani back up on his feet. Is Ogiwara, that's good to see. But it is for the 4th time in 5 races, Zen Mitani on the number 2 who wins from Ikegami. Ikegami, the rookie, standing on the podium on the number 14, a Japanese 1-2. And Ramadipa comes across the line in P3, the home hero for Indonesia. But we need to take a look at what happened there at turn 16 and 17. Thankfully for Ogiwara, the pole sitter, he is all okay, but it got a little bit too messy down there at the final corner. Yeah, catch your breath after that one.
Oh, goodness me, that last lap. Great defensive skills from Mitani, championship lead. That is why he's leading the championship by over 30 points. Now, I'm not quite sure what the gap will be. We'll see it as it comes up a little bit later on. But Zen Mitani, 4 wins from 5 races. But Elliot, I've got to say, Ramadipa's podium could be in question. He did go defensive into the last corner. That was absolutely fine. But coming out of the final corner, he did swerve across the track, and that just collected the front wheel of Ogiwara. So he might come into a bit of trouble with that move there.
Yeah, we're going to have to get a replay of what unfolded at the final corner. Got very, very close. Riders trying to jostle for the same part of the track, and unfortunately, the coming together was had. There is no doubt, though, Mitani crossed the line in P1, another victory to his name, but congratulations to Seiru Ikegami, the Japanese rider. Has threatened the podium in pretty much every race this year so far as the rookie, and finally he does have a P2 to his name and a podium. Hopefully that's the monkey off his back for Ikegami. Fantastic stuff from the number 14 Japanese rider. And as things stand, Ramadipa will be standing on the home podium in front of the Indonesian fans. There's a rather frustrated Ogiwara, understandably so as well, walks back to the pit lane. It's just good to see that Ryota Ogiwara is walking back. Okay, here we go. Let's have a look at what happened. So look at the number 19 Hafai up the inside. No room at the end there. Ramadipa taking the inside line. Ogiwara is just...
so that was thump there from Singapong.
That was Singapong, and I think Hafai coming into contact. As we see there, yeah, that's not particularly fantastic riding from Ramadipa. Cut right across the line there. Here we're going to get a better view of it. The number 7 machine. Yeah, that's not particularly fantastic to see. Ramadipa coming out the final corner, putting him right across Ogiwara's path. And Ogiwara went down the road, unfortunately. As I say, fantastic to see Ogiwara straight back up on his feet. But I don't think that's going to be the last we hear of that one.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right there, Elliot. And for the time being, Ogiwara has actually been classified in 4th place, but he wasn't in contact with his motorcycle, I believe, when he came across the line. So I think he'll be removed from that result if I stand corrected. That might actually move Hafai up to the podium if there's a sanction on the way from Ramadipa. But for the home fans, they'll be hoping not, because Ramadipa, we thought, was out of contention towards the final few laps of that race, but then came through to snatch a podium for the time being, we must say.
Yeah, we'll wait and see what happens with that one. We don't want to call anything here before it is officially decided in the commentary box, but it did look a little bit naughty, I've got to say, from Ramadipa to pull across the line of Ogiwara. Hafai finishing 4th place. So we'll see what happens after that. But let's focus for now on the fantastic racing we saw up until the final corner. Zen Matani, a race winner once again. That takes him well over the 100-point mark now, onto 120 points out of a possible 125 to start the season from Zen Matani. Fantastic stuff from the Japanese rider.
Okay, so we're just having flash up on our timing monitor now. A video finish confirms 4th position for number 19, so it's Hafai moving ahead of Ogiwara for 4th, and Ogiwara's been shuffled down to 5th. I must just say, Hafai was very lucky not to be taken out by the stricken number 16, as Ogiwara parted ways from his bike after contact with Ramadipa, and big contact with Singapong and Hafai as well. Both riders were really lucky to stay on board their machines as well.
Yeah, that got a little bit messy, didn't it? Hopefully, well, thankfully all the riders look to be all okay. Get a better view of it here as well. Yeah, Ogiwara going down there. Ramadipa looking behind him, potentially holds his hand up to say sorry there. But yeah, that got a little bit too messy, unfortunately, after a fantastic race. Matani, though, no such issues for the number 2 rider. Marches on in this early title charge. Race 2 coming up tomorrow morning. You're going to want to tune in for that one, I think, after that one, because that was an absolutely fantastic race. Ikegami on the number 14 as well, as I said, getting onto the podium for the first time. And it is all smiles, and that's Mario Aggi down there as well. Congratulating all the podium finishers. Mario Aggi going from towards the back of the grid in the Moto2 race, but absolutely the home hero favourite here this weekend, Mario Aggi, offering some expertise down there. I'm sure he'll know a few of the riders as well, so that's good to see.
Yeah, definitely good to see Mario Aggi down there, the rider that most of the home fans have come out to see, but they've also come out to see RB Adatama in Moto3 this weekend, and of course Ramadipa in the class, in the Asia Talent Cup class as well. So yeah, great turnout for the Indonesians, and they've got a great representation throughout all of the classes, and Ramadipa will be hoping to well, put on an even better performance tomorrow, maybe a cleaner performance, but a better performance. Sergio Ikegami, he'll be taking lots of confidence from that podium today into tomorrow's race. Redemption for Sepang race 1, where he was on course for a podium there before, tucking the front at the final corner. And, well, that confidence he'll be hoping to take to Europe as well when he competes in the European Talent Cup for the final 2 rounds of that championship.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've not got the 3rd place finisher in pit lane in Park Fermi, sorry, and that is why 6-second penalty due to irresponsible riding. It's just flashing up on our timing screens for Ramadeepa. So that promotes Hafai to the podium, the Malaysian rider. So we did expect something of a penalty to come the way of Ramadeepa, and that's exactly what's happened. Yeah, it does deserve some penalty. It's unfortunate for the Indonesian fans, of course, watching on trackside and from home, cheering on their new home hero, but that was certainly irresponsible riding and could have ended with Ogiwara picking up some sort of injury. Thankfully, he hasn't. So Ramadeepa, irresponsible riding, a 6-second penalty. That drops him to P6. And that promotes, as I say, Farish Hafai to the podium, the Malaysian rider. So hopefully Hafai can wheel his bike back into Park Fermi and stand on the podium.
Yeah, great result there from Hafai. I think he'll be hoping that he had a bit more from that after the performance he put on, especially through the middle section of the circuit. Here we go again, another view of the incident. That's the 20 of Singapore off track, but the 7, that's why he has been docked 6 seconds and he's gone from 3rd down to 6th. The number 7 Indonesian rider just cut right across the front of Ogiwara, and Ogiwara so thankful that there wasn't a brace of riders behind, so he had a bit of time to get up and get to safety.
Yeah, not nice viewing that, unfortunately, and Ramadeepa has been handed that 6-second penalty for irresponsible riding. We did see Ogiwara cross the line, not on board his motorcycle, but it's still showing up on our timing screens that he is taking P4, so that's a small bit of consolation if that result does stand for Ogiwara. The pole sitter will be going from, of course, pole position again tomorrow in the hunt for victory and a podium charge. That is Farish Hafai in Park Fermi, and there is the number 19 machine in the top 3. So a good job from Hafai. Obviously took the lead on the penultimate lap and took the lead again on the final lap. Absolutely outstanding through that fast section. It was phenomenal to witness, wasn't it, Liam? We were getting very excited. I'm sure everyone watching from home, including, of course, the Malaysian fans, were getting very excited too. We head back to Malaysia, of course, in a couple of rounds' time after we've visited Japan and Thailand.
Yeah, it's a start of a big run of races for the Asia Talent Cup, and yeah, it'll be, well, hopefully we'll have lots more of that competition, and, well, hopefully we'll see a little bit cleaner racing as we go towards the line. But thankfully it started with a bang here as we've reignited the 2024 Asia Talent Cup, and we've got it all to do again tomorrow, Elliot, and looking forward to more of the same.
Yeah, exactly that, excluding the final corner. What a way to bounce back into action for the Indomitsu Asia Talent Cup riders. As I say, another race coming tomorrow morning to kickstart Super Sunday here in Indonesia. As you can see there, beautiful setting to come racing. Always enjoy coming to Indonesia. It's a fantastic place, a fantastic circuit, lends itself well to phenomenal racing. We've got the podium ceremony coming up for the top 3, Mitani, Ikegami and Hafai. The Japanese national anthem will be ringing out around the Pertamina Mandalika International Circuit for Mitani. As after race 2 tomorrow morning, we get set to go to Japan, the Twin Ring Motegi, a home race for lots of these riders, including your top 2 in this race, Mitani, Ikegami, Ogiwara, of course, as well.
Yeah, and Mitani goes there, no matter what happens tomorrow, as the championship leader, and he's really putting on some form that we've seen from the likes of Tayo Furusato in 21 and Veda Pratam, and even Hakim Danisha over the last few years, and those 3 riders went on to not just win Asia Talent Cup, but take it in fine fashion.
Here we go then. Time for the podium ceremony. Took a little bit longer than usual after the post-race fallouts, handing Ramadipha a 6-second penalty. But it is time to get the podium ceremony underway. Faris Hafai stands on the podium for the 2nd time in as many races after collecting a podium back in Malaysia. Ikegami stands on the podium for the 1st time. Fantastic stuff for the young Japanese rider, a rookie of course, going great guns here and over in Europe. A real star to watch from Japan. And talking of stars from Japan, Zen Mitani marching towards already the 2024 title. Has only been stopped from winning once this season. Will that run continue tomorrow morning? We will find out, of course, tomorrow. Hafai hopefully packed room for some trophies. I'm sure they all did in their suitcases to walk away from Indonesia. Ikegami, his 1st trophy of the season. But Mitani potentially needing a new trophy cabinet already. Another podium to his name. That's the 5th of the season, 4 of them victories, the other one a 2nd place, as we get set to listen to the Japanese national anthem. The Japanese national anthem rings around here at the Pertamina Mandalika International Circuit for the 4th time, as I say, in 5 races for Zen Mitani. We're just going to get confirmation of the results then here from race 1 in Indonesia.
It's a 4th victory of the season for Zen Mitani, your championship leader, just ahead of fellow countryman Ikegami, with Hafai rounding out your podium. Then Ogiwara, who does salvage 4th position after coming across the line without his motorcycle, rounding out the top 5 is Singapong from Ramadipha, who was dogged 6 seconds from 3rd down to 6th. There's Takehira, Takamoto, Dakugen and Russo rounding out your top 10. Just outside the top 10 is Chavan, and then Tanachot. Then we've got Patumtong, Schmidt and Henry rounding out your points finishers. Then Vishwanath, Zakin, Nakib and Dave with the Britannia, who crashed and then remounted, rounding out your runners and riders in 20th position. Now, this is what race 1 from round 3 has done to the cup standings. Zen Mitani leads the way on 120 points, 39 ahead of Ramadipha and Takehira rounding at the top 3. Singapong, who came across the line in 5th, he's in 4th with 55 points. And then Hafai running at the top 5 from Ikegami, Ogiwara, Takemoto and Chavan, dropping 2 positions from 7th down to 9th. Then Levi Russo, he's down 1 from 9th to 10th. And then it's Dakuigin in 11th ahead of Schmidt, Henry in 13th, then Putra in 14th, and Wan Moon, who's missing in action this weekend, is still inside the top 15 with Tanachot and Patumtong in the top 17. Then the rest of the runners and riders, we have Rakshit Dev in 18th ahead of Vishwanath and Nakib running out the top 20.
Here's highlights then from race 1 as the Idemitsu Asia Talent Cup burst back into life, and there's plenty of highlights to choose from as well. Ogiwara on the number 16 started from pole position, and what a start he got. Whole shot into turn 1 as Mitani from the middle of the 2nd row. First time he wasn't on pole this season, got shuffled down to P4 in the early exchanges, but he wasn't there for long as he started to climb his way back through the top 3. Unfortunately for the number 24 wildcard Bertani, he suffered an early crash out of contention, out of the points contention was the Indonesian, but he'll be back up for race 2. Quickly at the front we saw a lead group of 5 riders, and it all came down to the final couple of corners, as it so often does in the Idemitsu Asia Talent Cup. Matani placed himself well, so did Ikegami. That was your top 2, and this is what happened. Drama at the final corner. The pole sitter Ogiwara and Ramadipa coming into contact. The Indonesian rider getting a 6-second penalty for irresponsible riding. But Matani's victory streak rolls on into Sunday morning. We will see you then for more Asia Talent Cup action. Thank you for joining us. See you tomorrow.